Or you want to stay on Zoom while we're doing this?
Oh,
Okay.
I don't care. We're good.
Let's see.
That way I can walk you through it this way.
Now I need you to be live. There we go. Invite. Add. Okay.
I sent you a request to join. Oh,
And it says adding.
okay. You must rotate your phone to join, okay?
Accept.
Join on camera.
We did it.
We did.
Oh my goodness. Uh-oh.
Hang on,
Hang
let me
close
close
my Zoom.
Zoom.
Yeah. Tons of feedback. Okay.
Ta-da!
Holy smokes. We
That
did
has
it.
been the most interesting thing I have done. Oh my gosh.
Holy moly. Right?
Yes.
All right. Fabulous. Thank you for oh my gosh, we've been doing this since 4:30, so we're here now, and I'm gonna make a note here on the page. We're live now.
Yeah, I am persistent. Never give up on the IT issues because I did IT for a long time. I am bound and determined to make it work.
Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. We are live now. So,
I don't see my camera.
hi Jennifer.
Okay.
Good. Hi Jennifer. Welcome, welcome. It's taken us 30 minutes to figure this out. So here we are, and not giving up on this thing. This is Maria, and I wanted to come in here, and her video is going to drop tomorrow from the interview that we did. So I've been doing some live streams to come in here and introduce my guests and just talk about, how much fun we had and share something more and a little bit different, because I was rewatching the video and it's so powerful. Come in here and introduce. Hi.
Sorry, I had to mute my.
Oh gosh, technology. This is Maria Leggett. You will see her again tomorrow in the video for the full interview. Yes, we had a ball. We had a ball. So we thought, well, what are we going to share today?
Hello,
As we
Jenny.
talked to.
That's my friend Jennifer.
Oh, awesome.
She's amazing.
Fabulous. So happy that you're here.
Me too.
And yes. All right. We talked a lot about some simple ways in the video about setting boundaries and dropping into your body. So when we learn how to set boundaries, how do we continue the subtle ways that people cross the line? Because they're very subtle and it could be a tone, it can be an energy that we feel. And how do we manage that for ourselves to have the boundary for ourselves, whether it's putting something out there energetically or speaking it out loud?
So I think one of the biggest decisions we have to make, and we do talk about this in the video tomorrow, which is understanding that no is a complete sentence, period.
It is.
And you have to, that's the very first thing that you can do for yourself, is to tell yourself it's okay that no is a complete sentence, period. Doesn't mean that we have to justify, because here's the thing, we start going into excuses, and they're not excuses, it's explanations. We feel like we have to explain everything away. No, you don't. You don't owe anybody an explanation. You have a right to be on this earth just as much as anybody else does. And they can all piss off because they're trying to invade your space.
Sorry.
So the very first thing you need to do is give yourself permission and say, no is a complete sentence. It's okay to say that.
There's a big piece about we don't owe anybody anything. And for us, yes, people pleasers, we're recovering from that. It's so yeah. So that's still it's a. How do we stay in our own lane? How do we? Just, when I first do that, my knees are knocked in, and I want to throw up, and it's really, really uncomfortable. How do we move through that when we're saying no? Because we know instantly if we want to do something or not, or what the no is about.
What's more important?
So how do we?
What's more important, their uncomfortability or yours?
In the beginning, it was theirs.
And that's the thing. So you have to decide, and that's what I'm saying. You have to decide that saying no is okay. So you have to be able to be comfortable with taking that stance, and that's knowing your self-worth, knowing that you are important, knowing that you are here on this earth for a reason, that you deserve to be here, and nobody can take that away from you.
Right.
And so we have to be able to become comfortable with that. Then we can start setting the boundaries, because then we recognize I'm allowed to say no. And I don't have to explain to anybody why, because it's your trauma that says, here, you have to explain.
Yes. Yes.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You
Less is more.
Yes. You don't know anybody a fucking thing. Nothing. Period. And I'm not even sorry that I said a bad word.
I love that word, so it's okay. It's one of my favorite words.
It is one of my favorites ever.
Yes. Okay. So getting to some of us are really far in, we know how to set boundaries, and some of us are in the very beginning. That's why I wanted to cover that, because when I began learning to set boundaries, oh man, it was so freaking uncomfortable.
Yes. And
one of the things also was to stay in my own lane, stick to the point. The other person that's not respecting the boundary anyway is going to try to convince me. And the more information I give, the more manipulation can happen.
Yes. And we have to also remember that once we start learning what a boundary is, that also means that we have to become responsible for our own energy. So we have to begin saying, oh, I screwed up. Because we're so busy doing the blame game, right? Boom, boom, boom. And here you are, this right here, 3 fingers are always pointing back at you while you're pointing at somebody else. And those 3 they're very important, those 3. They are super important.
Are.
And, they're pointing back to you saying, hey, you're not perfect. And nobody is perfect. And it doesn't mean the first time you set a boundary that you have to be like, oh, I'm learning how to set boundaries, so it's all sweet and fun. No, you can go back the fuck up. That's okay.
Right.
Like, give yourself the grace to blow up the first time, because you're learning. That's usually how boundaries come about, is that you're
oh my gosh,
you're triggered so deeply that you right? Or it's the fight, flight, or freeze, the 3 Fs, right? If you're fighting, you're going to scream. If you're freezing, you're going to turn around and run. It's the whole thing where I'm done with this conversation and we hang up. When people hang up on you and people walk away from you, it's because they're triggered.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the only way
absolutely, 100%.
To have a normal conversation is to say, okay, I'm feeling triggered. When you said this, I felt this way. When you say to people, you made me feel, you're putting all the blame on them. No, girlfriend. You allow that to affect you. That's why it becomes important that we start recognizing our accountability and all the shit that we've been through, because we bear accountability for all of that. It doesn't matter how it happened. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We might have been victimized, but today we get to be responsible.
Absolutely. Today we're a fucking warrior. There's no more victimization. We're stepping out of that.
Right. Absolutely.
Divine Feminine said, no more victimization. No more, I can't do this. The hell you can't. Yes, you can. And it's time to stand up and put on our accountability, pull on them panties and go, okay, I fucked all this up. I'm giving myself grace. I'm giving you grace, and we're going to move forward from here.
And that's the adulting conversation. Some emotional maturity.
Yes.
And it takes us qualifying it. I am triggered. saying that out loud, people go, oh, I can't tell them that. Yes, yes, absolutely, you can tell them.
And
Speak
that's a
your
boundary.
truth. It is a boundary.
By being able to say, you triggered me. And you don't necessarily have to use the word trigger, right? You can say, what you just said hurt my feelings. You know, it's that it all goes back to, and there is some really beneficial things that happen in traditional talk therapy. And in that traditional talk therapy, the most important thing that I learned was to say, when you did XYZ, I felt ABC, because that took the accountability off of them. There was no more blame game. It was me just saying, okay, this is how I felt. And then they can look at you and go, well, why did you feel that way? Well, it triggered this old memory of mine, blah, 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 blah.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean,
yes.
And I had to go through a lot of that with my husband. I mean, my poor husband had to deal with the fact that, you know, I'd been molested for 3 years as a kid. And so when it came to touching me in certain ways, I said to him, look, here's the deal. You're just going to have to start asking permission, because I can't do this. It would freak me out. And so
thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, he had to like walk on eggshells for a while, but it was a boundary that I had to set, because every time he would like pat me on my butt, I would immediately.
Yes, absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
how it all started with the person who molested me. They would pat me on my butt, and that was the signal for, hey, guess what's coming? So when somebody pats me on the ass, that's the first thing that happens to me, is I immediately freeze. And
does it still happen? Does that still happen today?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm 54 and I've dealt with all of it, right? And I'm not angry at him. I understand it all. But there's still such a thing as muscle memory, and your subconscious knows. Like you have this memory. It's there. Your body knows that situation triggers that. But it's not at a point where I want to puke anymore if somebody taps my belly, pats my butt, right? I don't want to puke anymore. I don't want to scream at anybody. I don't want to kill somebody. I don't feel that anymore. But what I do is say, please don't do that. That is a boundary for me. Don't touch me that way. And my husband's completely adjusted to it now. I mean, we've been together for 25 years, and he's amazing. And every now and then he'll pat me on the butt, and I don't even have to say anything. He'll go, oh shit, I'm sorry.
Right? Yeah.
So, and there's
totally get that.
Get mad. I just turn around, hug him, and say thank you, because I'm loving the fact that he's respecting my boundary. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful. And we don't have to be aggressive in setting our boundaries.
No.
Just speak our truth about it.
That's the thing.
Because I remember going from being the doormat over here to being the really aggressive, you're not going to do that to me ever again. You know, so I went from one extreme to the other.
But that's part of the process for a lot of people.
It is, absolutely. And I'm not dismissing that. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because eventually we come back to the middle.
Yeah. And that's why you have
that's part of that healing.
For the blow up.
Yeah.
Give yourself grace for the blow up. Be calm. Be okay. It's all right.
Well, thank you for those words. I didn't do that in the beginning, I can tell you.
Yeah.
I did not give myself grace. I just went to the other extreme, because now that I realize I'd been a doormat for so long in my whatever I was doing, in my people pleaser and all that stuff, and now I'm on the other side of it. So, you know, it's that finding the balance, and the pendulum comes back to the middle.
Yeah.
And we do it long enough that we're not triggered as deeply anymore. And if we are, we know how to deliver it in a way that's kind, so that we don't rip someone's head off anymore.
Well, here's the thing. You know, when you find that pendulum swing back to the middle, and you're finally at a point where you realize, oh, I really ripped that person's head off, you can go back to them and say, I apologize for the way it came out. You're not apologizing for what you said.
Absolutely not.
You know, that's one thing my mom taught me when I was a little girl. You never have to apologize for what you said if you meant it. It's just the way that it came out. Delivery is everything.
Yeah.
Yes. So you don't ever have to apologize for what, just the way.
Well, yeah, because if we're apologizing for what we just said, then we just totally dismiss and eliminate the boundary we set.
You negated your boundary.
So, yeah.
And then, depending, and we all know these people who are like, oh, you lowered your boundary? Let me run in.
Oh, yes. Well, and it's that unconscious dynamic that we have.
Yes.
Because we're not consciously doing that. It's a very unconscious place. So,
It is
yeah.
completely.
That was good stuff. Good stuff. No was a complete sentence.
No is a complete sentence. That is the most important thing you can take away when it comes to boundaries. And just learning that you deserve to be able to say no without having to explain it. And if somebody says to you, why, that's when you can become comfortable with, I don't feel the need to explain it to you.
Absolutely. Or I don't want to.
Yeah, we're a nosy society. We are a very nosy society, and we think we have a right to cross every boundary it is.
Yes.
I mean,
absolutely.
All these people who think they can walk up and touch a pregnant woman's belly, what the fuck is wrong with you? Keep off.
Yes. Yes.
I hated that.
And we learn that we get them crossed from a very, very young age.
Yes.
So,
absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't know what boundaries were for a long time. I mean, I was molested for 3 years. What are boundaries? No is not a word I ever was able to say. So when it came time for me to find an attraction to whoever would be my partner, and for me, it just so happened to be the opposite sex, I did some really inappropriate touching when I was 13 and 14 and 15 because I didn't know it was bad.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It affects us on every level, and it's that trauma response reaction, really. It's not a response.
Oh my God, it totally is.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, and thanks for being so raw and real about your experience.
Oh, my pleasure.
And just it lets other people, we all know we're not alone, but it verbally validates that it's happened to more than it hasn't happened to.
That's the truth.
I would
say. That is the truth. And I tell Spirit all the time when I first started telling people that I was molested as a kid because it was a family member. And so everybody's like, oh, who was it? I'm like, I'm not telling you. It doesn't matter. They know who they are, and that's all that matters. And, I just tell Spirit, I'm like, look, here's the deal. If my story can help just one person, I'm going to tell it every day until the day I die. Because women need to know you are not alone. I've suffered through it. And I'm no longer suffering. I'm not a victim. I'm a warrior. I'm on the other side. And I'm telling my story because I don't want anybody to feel like they were alone. And the most important thing that you need to know about that entire situation, it was never your fault. Ever. And that's why we need to learn that no is a complete sentence. If somebody doesn't want to tell their story, they don't have to say, hey, please don't pat me on the arm because I was tied up and raped. You don't need to explain that shit to anybody. You just say no. If they say why, because it's my body. Or, it's mine. Or you can just say, I don't feel the need to tell you. Period.
Simple words. It's I know when I first started speaking them out loud, just wanted to throw up most of the time. I was like, so uncomfortable. But it was so freeing. And learning that no is a complete sentence was a game changer. Game changer in my world. Yeah. Hi, honey. I can't hear you now. Are you talking out loud? What happened? Okay, now there's no sound. Oh my God. All right, lovely. Does that mean that we're complete? You muted yourself. What happened? Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I'm going to say we wrapped it up then. Thank you so much for making this work. This has been Maria, Shelley. I met you as Shelley, and now it's Maria. So, anyway, I adore you. I thank you so much. I just love the time that we get to spend together. And enjoy each other's company and be so raw and real, just as it is. And thank you. That's what I got. Thank you. I am very grateful that I get to learn. I don't not learn, scratch that. That I get to know you. All right, lovelies. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And we'll figure all this tech stuff out.